All right, listen up. You've heard the whispers on the street. You've seen the tickers fly, and you're thinking, Kramer, how do I get a piece of this action? Let's talk about options. Forget the complicated Wall Street jargon for a minute. Think of an option as a special kind of voucher or a reservation. It's a contract that gives you the right, but not the obligation, to buy or sell a stock at a set price, on or before a specific date. It's like putting a deposit down on a house you like. You've locked in the price, but you haven't bought the whole house just yet. You have the choice, the option to walk away if you change your mind. It's all about control, baby. So why bother with these things? Why not just buy the stock? It all comes down to leverage and protection, my friends. Leverage means you can control a big chunk of valuable stock with a much smaller amount of money. Instead of forking out thousands of pounds to buy 100 shares of a top-tier company, you can buy an options contract controlling those same 100 shares for a fraction of the cost. This magnifies your potential gains. On the flip side, options can act like an insurance policy for your portfolio. Worried your favorite stock might take a tumble? There's an option for that. It's a powerful tool, a financial Swiss Army knife if you will, but remember, with great power comes great responsibility. This isn't a game for the timid, and you need to do your homework. Options trading allows you to make strategic bets on which way you think a stock is headed, up, down, or even sideways. It gives you flexibility that just buying and holding stock doesn't offer. You can play both offense and defense in the market. You can aim for a home run or just protect the gains you've already made. It's about being smart, being strategic, and knowing the playing field before you step onto it. Knowledge is power, and in this game, it's money. The key thing to grasp right now is that you're not buying the actual stock itself. You're buying a contract about the stock. This contract has its own price, called the premium, which is what you pay to get that right to buy or sell later. The premium can go up or down in value based on what the underlying stock is doing, how much time is left on the contract, and how much the market expects the stock to move. It's a dynamic, fast-moving world, but once you understand the basic building blocks, you'll be ready to make some noise. So are you ready? Let's get into the nitty-gritty. Let's start with the superstar of the options world, the call option. Think C for call and C for climbing. A call option gives the buyer the right to buy a stock at a pre-agreed price, which we call the strike price, before a certain date. You buy a call when you are bullish, when you think a stock is going to the moon. You believe the price is heading higher, and you want to lock in a lower purchase price right now. It's your ticket to ride the bull. If you're confident a company is about to release a blockbuster product, you buy a call. Here's a simple example. Let's say shares of company ABC are trading at £50. You think they're going to soar. You could buy a call option that gives you the right to buy 100 shares of ABC at a strike price of £55, and this option expires in 1 month. You might pay a small premium, say £2 per share for this right. So your total cost is £200, £2 times 100 shares. You're making a calculated bet that the stock will rise well above £55 before that month is up. You're putting your money where your mouth is, but with less capital on the line. Now, what about selling a call? This is for the bears, or at least the not so bullish. When you sell a call option, you are taking the other side of the bet. You collect the premium from the buyer, and in return, you take on the obligation to sell them your shares at the strike price if they decide to exercise their right. You do this when you think the stock will not go up past the strike price. If you own 100 shares of ABC at £50 and don't think they'll hit £55 in the next month, you can sell that £55 call option and pocket the £200 premium. It's a way to generate income from the stocks you already own. Let's see how it plays out for the call buyer. If you were right and ABC stock rockets to £65, your option is a winner. You have the right to buy the shares at £55, even though they're worth £65 on the open market. You can exercise your option, buy the shares for £5,500, and immediately sell them for £6,500 for a handsome profit. Or more commonly, you can just sell the option contract itself, which has now become much more valuable. The risk. If the stock stays below £55, your option expires worthless, and you lose the £200 premium you paid. That's your maximum loss. No margin calls, no sleepless nights beyond that initial stake. Now, let's flip the script and talk about the put option. Think P for put and P for plummeting. A put option gives the buyer the right to sell a stock at a pre-agreed strike price before a specific expiration date. You buy a put when you're bearish, when you're convinced a stock is heading for the seller. It's your parachute in a falling market. If you think a company is about to report terrible earnings, or a competitor is about to eat their lunch, you buy a put to profit from the decline. It's a way to make money when everyone else is losing it. Let's use our friend, company ABC again. The stock is at £50, but you have a bad feeling. You buy a put option with a strike price of £45, expiring in 1 month. You pay a premium, perhaps £1.50 per share, for a total of £150. You are now betting that ABC's stock price will fall below £45 before your option expires. If it does, your put option becomes valuable because it gives you the right to sell the stock for £45, even if it's trading at, say, £35. You've locked in a higher selling price, and that right is worth money. Selling a put is the opposite move. You sell a put when you are bullish or neutral on a stock. You collect the premium from the put buyer, and in return, you agree to buy their shares at the strike price if the stock falls, and they exercise their option. Why do this? Imagine you like company ABC at £50, but would love to buy it cheaper. You could sell a put option with a £45 strike price. You collect the £150 premium. If the stock stays above £45, the option expires worthless, and you just keep the premium. Free money. If the stock drops to £40, you are obligated to buy the shares at £45, but your effective cost is lower because of the premium you received. Let's follow the money for the put buyer. If you were right and ABC's stock tanks to £35, your put option is in the money. You have the right to sell shares at £45 that are only worth £35. That's a £10 per share intrinsic value. You can sell your now valuable put contract for a big profit. Your risk as the buyer is limited to the £150 premium you paid. If the stock price stays above £45, your option expires worthless, and you lose that premium. For the put seller, the risk is higher. They could be forced to buy a stock that is falling in price. So homework is a must. Every option contract has a sell-by date known as the expiration date. This is the final day that the option holder can exercise their right. Time is a crucial component of an option's value. An option with 6 months until expiration is like having 6 months worth of lottery tickets. It has more time to become a winner and is therefore more valuable than an option that expires tomorrow. This time value, as we call it, decays every single day. It's like a melting ice cube, and this process is a force you must respect. You can be right about a stock's direction, but if you get the timing wrong, you can still lose. The risk and reward profile is what makes options so electrifying. When you buy a call or a put, your risk is capped. The absolute most you can lose is the premium you paid for the contract. That's it. Your potential reward, on the other hand, is theoretically unlimited for a call buyer. A stock can go up indefinitely. And substantial for a put buyer. A stock can go to zero. This asymmetric payoff is a huge attraction. You risk a little to make a lot. However, the odds are often stacked against you, as most options expire worthless. You have to be right about direction and timing. When you sell an option, the roles are reversed. Your potential reward is capped at the premium you received from the buyer. That's the most you can make on the trade. Your risk, however, can be substantial. If you sell a call without owning the underlying stock, a naked call, your risk is theoretically infinite because there's no limit to how high a stock price can go. Selling a put also carries significant risk, as you could be forced to buy a stock at the strike price when its market price is much, much lower. Selling options is a game of probabilities, not home runs. So what happens when the final bell rings at expiration? A few things can happen. If the option is in the money, meaning it's profitable to exercise, the holder will typically either sell the valuable contract for a profit or exercise it. If it's out of the money, it simply expires worthless, and the buyer loses their premium while the seller keeps it. That's the game, folks. Options are about leverage, strategy, and managing that ticking clock. Start small, do your homework, and never, ever bet the farm. Now go out there and make some money. Booyah.